We get into this last chapter of this portfolio management where the focus is in terms of only the planning phase, right? We talked about planning, execution, and then control, right? So this chapter is only focusing more towards the planning phase of the portfolio, where that investment policy statement or written investment policy statement has to be really prepared, and what contents go into that written investment policy statement. How do you set the client's goals in terms of the return objectives, risk objectives? All these things typically go as a part of this chapter. So the inputs to the execution phase is what is the planning phase. So the real executions and all will happen as you move to the next levels, but within this level, it's only a planning part that we are looking at, apart from the calculations and all, which we tried out in the last session. So the first thing we are looking at is the written investment policy statement. And as a simplified stuff, it is a plan to make sure that both the client as well as the company, the portfolio manager, both of them are on the same terms in terms of risk and return objectives. So it forces some kind of discipline into the investment, so that you don't try out all kinds of investments for a client who is merely risk averse. So some kind of an understanding between the two parties. So it's primarily a communication tool. It's not a guarantee of a return, right? But at least it shows the direction. Okay, this guy is a less risk taking person, so whatever the asset classes you are choosing, make sure that you are choosing the least risky kind of asset classes. So some such kind of discipline will be brought in, and in some cases there is a law or a regulation also coming into picture. It may be required as per law also in some of the cases, but, and it's always consistent with the best practices itself, because at the end whatever should go into it, it should be in the favoritism of the customer or the client. So if both parties involved in the preparation of that IPS, it's much more better. It's just not one party preparing it and sharing it with the other. Probably if if the portfolio manager fixes up a time, sits with the client, understands his requirement, and then translates it into the document, or probably both of them sitting together and making a document, is always a better suggestible thing in the field of investments. Now, what all will it contain? There is a description of the client, very simple. And then, what is the prime intention, basic purpose of this investment policy statement? So, just some disclaimers and some basic objective is being explained. But the clear things are coming up from here. The duty of responsibilities. What is the responsibility of the client as far as investments are concerned? What are his responsibilities? Typically, he has to explain all his requirements very clearly, right? It is expected that the client has given the decent level of information regarding his expectations. And similarly, portfolio manager, what is his duty? Probably communicate to the client on a weekly basis, communicate with the client on the performance on a monthly basis. Some kind of standards will be set. That is the duties. And at what frequency the IPS will be updated, and what is the procedure for that? Probably if the market is going into a recession completely, or if there is a big economic change, then will the objectives and everything will be changed? At what frequency they would be changed, and on what conditions they may be changed, because the client may not have full idea about it. So portfolio manager who would be having a full idea on that, because he may think of, okay, it's better for you to change the investment policy statement. Probably you better go more safe than the risk which you are taking now. Some kind of advice can be given. So all those things actually typically go as a part of the IPS updating, because IPS is like a guideline. You follow this. So when will I update that guideline? At some points I may have to take some kind of updatings to that. So the updating procedures will be